Reality is stranger than fiction, and the story of Ed Gein is not just strange, it's horrifying. The man who inspired iconic horror films like Psycho, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Silence of Lambs lived a life so twisted that it defied imagination. His heinous crimes are the focus of Netflix's latest monster series. Ed Gein doesn't just fit the title of monster, he redefined it. He was the living embodiment of a nightmare brought to life. The infamous Ed Gein redefined the meaning of horror. In his isolated, crumbling farmhouse in Plainfield, he lived a quiet life. No one could have imagined the unspeakable terrors hidden behind those decaying walls. When the truth finally came to light, it left the world in shock, a shock that lingers even today. What investigators uncovered inside that house would haunt them forever. Welcome back to Prison Stories. In this episode, we will discuss the monstrous and chilling story of Ed Gein, uncovering the horrifying details of his life. Born on August 27, 1906, in La Crosse, Edward Theodore Gein grew up under the strict and oppressive rule of his deeply religious mother, Augusta. It was the woman who yielded a never-ending impact on the young mind of Gein. She drilled into Ed and his brother Henry the belief that the world was filled with evil and that the women were vessels of sin. Obsessed with shielding her family from the surrounding wickedness, Augusta uprooted the family from La Crosse and moved to the remote town of Plainfield. Even there, she kept the family isolated on a desolate farm, far away from the influences of the town. Ed Gein spent his childhood and most part of his adulthood isolated in a farmhouse. Though he went to school, but his classmates remembered him as socially awkward and prone to odd, unexplained fits of laughter. What's more, he was also a victim of bullies due to his eccentric nature. The only meaningful connection of Ed Gein was his mother. Strangely enough, Ed's first victim was his brother. They both went to burn out some bushes on land, but Henry went missing. Ed told them that Henry had gone missing. Shortly after, they found Henry's body lying face down in a marsh. He had died from suffocation. Now Ed and his mother had the farmhouse all to themselves. They lived in isolation, but his mother died the same year, leaving him alone on that farmhouse in 1945. Now alone in that farmhouse, Ed turned it into a shrine in the memory of his mother. A young man was living secluded in a farmhouse. That was all people knew about him. Nobody knew what went behind those walls, or what that lonely man was up to. Living alone, Ed filled his days by learning about Nazi medical experiments, studying human anatomy, consuming porn, though he never attempted to date any real-life women, and reading horror novels. Nobody knew and nobody cared until something shocking comes up that shook the whole town. In 1957, a local hardware store owner named Bernice Wardens vanished, leaving nothing behind but bloodstains. What was mysterious was that the lady was seen in her store last with nobody else but Ed Gein. Still nobody suspected anything. Police went to the farmhouse for investigation. As soon as investigators stepped into the house, they found Bernice Wardens in the kitchen. But she was dead. Not only dead, she was decapitated and hung by her ankles from the rafters. But that was not the end of their shock. What they see later was unbelievable and unimaginable. They found countless bones here and there. There were human skulls impaled on his bedposts, bowls and kitchen utensils made from skulls. But the shock even didn't end here. There were chairs upholstered in human skin, a wastebasket made of skin, leggings made from human leg skin, masks made from faces. To the horror of police, there wasn't a female body part that was not used to make something in that house of terror, even a lampshade made from a human face. The dismembered body parts were scattered around the house like pebbles and rocks. They even found the remains of Mary Hogan, a tavern keeper who went missing in 1954. But all of these things were not possibly made with two women. Who were the other ones, and what happened to them? No doubt Ed Gein was taken into custody, and he readily admitted his crimes. He admitted killing two women, but what was beyond belief was his new confession. He admitted that he'd collected most of the remains from 3 local graveyards, which he'd started to visit 2 years after Augusta's death. He told police he'd gone to the graveyards looking for bodies that he thought resembled his mother. He told how he had wanted to create a woman's suit so that he could become his mother and crawl into her skin. No doubt the man was insane. A terror swept far and near. People were in shock, disbelief, anger, and whatnot. Ed Gein got the nickname of the Butcher of Plainfield. Case was filed, and Ed Gein was tried in court where he was declared not guilty by reason of insanity. He was sent to the Central State Hospital for the Criminally Insane, where he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. 10 years later, Ed was deemed fit to stand trial and was convicted of the murder of Bernice Wardens. He was never tried for Mary Hogan's murder because the state saw it as a waste of money. Ed was insane, and he would spend the rest of his life in hospitals either way. He remained there until 1984, when he died at the age of 77. For nearly a decade, Ed Gein lived in isolation, hidden in plain sight. Nobody cared to notice the strange, quiet man on the edge of town. He wasn't hiding, nor did he seem to be plotting anything. To the outside world, he was simply another recluse living his life on a crumbling farm. But behind those decaying walls, unimaginable horrors was going on. The silence surrounding Ed Gein wasn't just his own. It was the silence of a community that didn't look closely enough until it was far too late. Thank you for watching Prison Stories. Don't forget to subscribe for more intriguing stories from us. Till then, don't forget to like and share the video. Keep an eye on your surroundings for those who need your help, and we will see you in the next one.